Hello there guys, it's me Unstable Voltage and welcome to episode 7 of Europa Universalis IV. We're still at war with France and we've recently had Burgundy declare peace in their war with France, and now it's just us versus France. We managed to take a few more of their provinces. We're doing very well in war score still trying to siege out a few of their vassals. Now they do have an army. We're both pretty low on manpower and they have actually started to move their armies up towards me, so we are going to have to keep our eye on things and be very careful with watching where these guys go. If we could actually flatten that army, that would be fantastic. Right, seems that they are all stacking up in Poitou at the moment, which is fine. I don't have too much of an issue with that. They may attempt to go on Berry. It certainly is a possibility. Now, what we may want to do is wait until we've managed to finish sieging Bourbonnais over here, which we are actually managing. It is starting to siege out. We're also using this little army up here just to siege these provinces. These guys are fairly safe because there's nothing up here that can get to them, so we don't have to worry about that too much. There is one little Provence army up there, but I don't think that is going to be too much of a problem to us right now. And of course, we still have our ships here. We still have their ports blockaded. We are seeing some units moving in here, of course. So that is definitely something that we do need to keep our eye on. Now, they're actually moving forwards towards my 5 stack, which is potentially problematic. So I'm going to move up here with my stack of 14 in the hope we can go and win that war. We may have to abandon the siege that's going on down here. So we've got an option here. We can either lose 30... we can gain +1 yearly prestige for... What's that? 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. For 40 years, we can gain +1 yearly prestige. But it would cost us 30 administrative power, 10 diplomatic, and nearly 100 ducats. Or we could just lose 5 prestige. We don't have a massive amount of prestige, but I think taking the 5 prestige hit is not the end of the world. So we can see these guys are coming in here as well, which was expected. These Tuscany troops have engaged us up there. We should be able to win this battle once we throw those troops in. Now, what I want to be careful of here is where these guys are going. These guys are actually going to engage in this fight, so I might have to take my entire army in at this point. Getting peace offers from Tuscany. Not going to accept these peace offers right now because I want to wipe them out. I'm going to let France start to make that move up towards here. Because what I will be able to do then is actually move in with these guys and throw the entire stack at them. Because it'll be good to wipe as many of their troops out as possible. Now, there we go. The French have managed to reinforce. We are still technically the defenders, so they've got all the penalties here. We are low on morale, but we've just managed to get the rest of our units in. And we should win that battle, and we do. We get a nice bit of war score for doing it as well. We are going to take our little stack and leave it here in Champagne. We are going to move some of the bigger stacks into places to try and siege them out. We're at 59% war score now, and we are almost completely void of manpower. So this might very much be the point where we have to turn around and go, okay, we're done. We can't do any more here. We have to stop. But we're not quite at that point yet. We could give chase, of course, which is the other possibility. We could just go down here and try and find their armies and completely stack wipe them. Because they are on very low morale at this point. So if we can actually catch up with any of them. We do have a leader here. So there we go. There was a very quick and easy win. We can try and chase these guys down. This is an Armagnac army. We could go and try and chase those down, though it is a little bit risky. Let's just see if we can run through into Poitou and attack this army here. I've just noticed up here, just happened to see that these guys are coming in. I'm not terribly certain these guys can get away quick enough, although they do seem to be mainly cavalry. They will arrive on the 24th of August. These guys will get here on the 21st of August. There's not an awful lot that I could do about that. I could potentially try and run this army in to reinforce, although it's not a very big army, but it might be enough to make them change their mind about committing at this point, and in fact it has done. So you guys can actually stay there for the time being, and we are definitely going to try and chase down the rest of the French army, which is working quite well. Okay, so that's another battle won. And then I think we're going to go back down here. We'll have to wait for that battle to tick over. We've gained 1 stability as well because we have completed a mission. Because we managed to get our prestige up above 50, which was the mission we had. You guys are going to work down there because I think there are still some French troops. We seem to be doing okay over here for the time being. The only thing that's always confused me about this game is you don't necessarily always know when these troops are against you or not. It would be nice if there was a really obvious difference in the flags that told you whether something was an enemy army or whether it's just a neutral army passing through. We do get to choose another mission. We can either protect against Burgundy, which means that England must have an army size equal or larger than Burgundy. The reward for that would be 5 army tradition, which is actually very nice. Or we could get Poland's opinion of England up to at least 125, which would give us some prestige and diplomatic power. Or we could conquer Aquitaine, which would mean we have to own Labour and Gascogne, which would give us 10 prestige. I think protecting against Burgundy is probably the best one there because military tradition is or army tradition is a very, very nice thing to have. We're up to 62% war score. We are going to unpause and allow things to continue for a little while. Would like to try and siege out some more territory if I can, but at the same time we do need to remove a few enemy armies. Gain some tradition there. So, do we actually already have a bigger army than Burgundy? Fantastic. Maybe because that's Burgundy's just lost a load of troops. So, we instantly completed that mission and gained the army tradition. Very nice. The rival of our rival. Again, we've still got that Poland mission. We've still got the Aquitaine mission. Or, claim our rival's province, Alencon. And that would give us some prestige and military power. Well, we can certainly make a claim. Where is Alencon? Is it somewhere that I should know? Doesn't ring any bells. So what you've got down here is F is the shortcut. You've got find province, and that's very useful. Was it Alan or Allen? Alencon, there it is. And, oh, it's right there. Okay, fair enough. Now, we can't actually make a claim against them for that at the moment because it is, we're currently at war with them. So we shouldn't be able to do that. Let's just double check. Covert actions. Yeah, can't fabricate a claim with someone you're at war with, as I thought. So we could take that mission. I'm not going to take any missions for now. We'll just carry on with things as they are. Still getting lots of peace offers from various different people. Not sure where their armies went, but let's come back up here and try and siege out Bourbon. So, we have an option here. We could either have 13 nationalist regiments rise up in revolt in Normandy. And Normandy gets increased local revolt risk and a minus negative local manpower modifier. Or we can get a stability cost modifier, which is bad for us because it means it costs more to get your stability up. But it would only be for a year, and we're already at +3 stability, so that's not too bad a thing. National tax modifier would mean we'd lose 5% of our tax income, which is not brilliant, but it's also not the end of the world, and we would lose 30 ducats. I think that's the best option to take while we're at war, because we don't want to have to be dealing with... we really don't want to have to be dealing with... regiments of... I'm just forgetting words. We don't want to have to be dealing with regiments of rebels at this point in the war. Especially as we have no manpower. I'm going to go and try and siege out Poitou with this army. The main reason I want to do that is because it'd be nice to force the French ships out here and get them destroyed. My ports are apparently blockaded. We've actually got Novgorod now are actually starting to... land ships up here. Maybe we will have to go and peace out with Novgorod after all. We could try and go for some individual peace offers. What do Normandy want to do? White peace. Nobody will gain or lose anything. Well, I don't really need anything from Tuscany, so we could accept that. You actually gained a bit of war score from that. So no longer at war with Normandy. I'm not going to worry too much about these guys over here. They will probably make another peace offer shortly. So we'll wait for that to happen. And then when it does happen, we will accept, just so we don't have to keep dealing with them anymore, because it is rather annoying. So yeah, Norfolk is being sieged out, which is a little bit of a pain. But I don't think it's going to be the end of the world for us at this point. It's going to take them an awfully long time to manage to do that anyway. We could roll over there with our ships and potentially take their blockade out, but it seems a little bit pointless to try and do that right now. Seems that Burgundy are still at war with Provence, so we'll allow that to carry on. I don't have too much of an issue with that. Still scanning around the map just to make sure there's nobody around that's going to cause us too much of a problem. Looks like they've moved their ships away. I could go and get some mercenaries up there and go and deal with them, but we'll just wait until we can peace out. It is not an immediate threat as it stands right now. Taking out Poitou would be really good for us. What I am going to do with this army currently is detach a siege, and then I'm going to move everybody down and try and catch these French troops that are trying to move in. Might be able to cut them off. Although we don't really have enough people down here to complete this siege at the moment. Probably not going to get there quick enough. He's going to get out on the 10th of January. We're going to arrive on the 11th of January. That is a bit of a pain. Just running around trying to stop their armies causing too much of a problem. Okay, there's the peace offer from Novgorod. What do they want to do? White peace. Let's accept. We've actually got up to 72 war score now. Fantastic. So France are currently running out of allies. If we go and actually have a look at our own nation here, and we can see that well, we can actually do it by looking down here. We can see who is still left in the war. We've all got low war enthusiasm, which is a bad thing by far, but we can see who is actually left in the alliance. It is starting to run low, so things are going good. Again, I'm not going to peace out just yet. We've still got the option of taking a few more provinces around here, so let us go and do that if we can. We're going to try and do as much damage as we can before we peace out. We're actually getting the call for peace now. Now, this is a problem that happens if you've been at war for too long. The war is won and your people tire of continued occupations. They cry out for peace. And basically, your monthly war exhaustion goes up by 0.01 every month. Now, it doesn't sound like a lot, but it soon mounts up. So we are going to have to peace out as soon as we can. Maybe we will just get these last two provinces and then call it peace. So, unhappiness amongst the clergy, we can ignore their demands, we can lose 10 papal influence and gain 10 prestige, or we can accept their demands, lose 25 prestige and gain the papal influence. Not too bothered about the papal influence at the moment, so let us go ahead and take the prestige. It would be nice to siege Poitou just so we can go and sink their navy, but it's probably not going to happen. We do now have a revolt. The revolt is in Orleans. Those guys are now exiled, so they're not sieging anymore. The revolt is... Where's Orleans there? It's a stack of 12. We could potentially go and deal with it, but I don't think we need to worry about that right now. We'll peace out before they manage to unsiege that province anyway. We're probably not going to get much higher than 72% war score, though. We're probably pretty close to the maximum, although we are managing to siege out Poitou relatively quickly at this point. And let's not forget, we do have that call for peace. We are going to have to peace out very, very quickly. And we are actually starting to get rebels pop up all over the places now, although that isn't going to be too bad for us. So, what we're going to do is let's have a look at a peace deal. Let us see what we could get in a peace deal should we want it. We're going to clear the offer. So, we have 72% war score. They may be prepared to go a little bit further than that. But what we want is, first of all, we want to take the two provinces from Scotland that we need to do the British nation. We can't make the British nation yet because we need an administrative tech level 10 to do that. So it's going to take quite some time. But we need Lothian and we need Aberdeen. So those are two very important things. So let's just make sure that this is clear. We want Lothian. We want Aberdeen. That automatically takes us up to 33% war score. Possibly nice if we could take Fife as well. But that puts us up to 48 war score. So maybe we'll leave that for some consideration. We'll have a look over here. We could take back Gascoigne and Labour, because they are technically both our cores anyway. So we could get them back, which is what we gave away in the peace deal. Now, that's already put us over the war score. So we're probably not going to get too much out of them here. We could get France to try and revoke some cores, but we're probably not going to have enough for them to do that. No, I didn't think so. We're not going to get them to return. We could get them to give Calais back to Burgundy, but that requires 21 war score. Cancel vassals. Would be nice if we could get them to break some of their vassals with some of the other... Yeah, probably not. Release nations. So we could try and break them up. We could get them to annul their treaties with Scotland. Again, just slightly over the war score there. See, we could actually potentially ask for Scotland to become a vassal of England for 53%. If we don't actually want to take anything from the French. So that means we wouldn't be able to take any land, but we could just potentially vassalize Scotland. I think dealing with Scotland, though, on the whole, would be better doing it this way. We're probably never going to have enough to take Berry. Yeah, that'll be 110% war score. I think I'm happy with what we've got there. We can take Aberdeen. We can take Lothian. We'd also be getting Gascoigne and Labour back, which does hurt the French. And we would be able to take some gold from them as well. Or the other option is to play on slightly. Because we only need 10% war score for them to annul their treaties with Scotland. So I think what we're going to do, we'll take off the gold. We'll click on that. And we can see that we don't have enough for that offer. But we can afford to play on for a little while. And just see if we can manage that. I am being cautious because we are getting quite a lot of French armies starting to be built up around here. So we do need to keep our eyes open for them. And we have got the call to peace. And we have got the rebels popping up all over the place. But we only need a few more positive sieges here. And we can potentially get the extra war score that we need. So we're not going to do anything just now. It's 72% war score, so let's just keep rolling with things. It's also annoying as well because a lot of these nations have very, very similar flags, so you don't always necessarily know what side they're on sometimes. I often confuse Provence for France because they do have a very, very similar flag. I also get Foix confused for Aragon all the time as well, because their flag is quite similar. So we're still at 72%. Mostly it's going to tick over at the end of the month. Still going to be a little while before any of these sieges end, although Poitou's actually quite close to finishing. And if the siege for Poitou completes and their boats get kicked out, we can sink their navy, because we are already blockading the ports, we've already got some ships there. If we can sink their navy, that will give us a nice bit of extra war score too. What I may do, if we manage to siege out Champagne, is to just move these guys down quickly to help out down here with this stack that looks like it's going to be coming for us anytime soon. I assume that the French are still having major problems with their manpower, as am I. At least we're starting to get into positive numbers now with the siege in Poitou, so that is a good thing. There we go. Look, Burgundy have actually managed to siege out this Barrois that belongs to Provence. They'll probably take that and link their two bits of land together at this point. We're losing a lot of money. We've got no manpower. Luckily, we've got good stability. We are getting more rebels, which we will have to go and deal with. But we want to get as much against France as possible. Really keeping my fingers crossed that this siege in Poitou goes through very quickly. Especially before they decide to attack. If they do try to attack, and they try to attack from Limousin, they should get a river crossing. So we should actually be okay if they do attack there. We should still win that fight, although it is going to be tricky. Just waiting Still at 72%. And as you can see, we have got some sieges going on up here with the rebels. How big are these stacks, actually? 7 and 3. We could just hire a lot of mercenaries. Now, that would be expensive, but we can take loans. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into our economy. We're going to take a few loans. Now, taking out loans is going to drive up our inflation, but you can have like hundreds of loans, so never be afraid to take out loans. Then we are going to build ourselves some, well, we're going to hire ourselves some mercenary. Always hire your infantry closer to the problem and your cavalry further away, because remember, your cavalry move quicker. So it's going to be quite costly for us, but it's not going to be the end of the world. In the meantime, I'm going to be keeping my eye on what is going on down here, mainly because of that stack there. 14% in Poitou now, the defenders desert, and Champagne is doing quite well there, which is all good stuff. But we shall continue and hopefully end this war in the next video. So, thanks a lot for watching, guys. I hope you are still enjoying Europa Universalis IV, and I'll see you on the next video. Until then, goodbye for now.